It was an old, crumbling house at the edge of the forest, a place people avoided after sunset. When Rhea inherited it from her late aunt, she thought it would be the perfect escape from city life. The locals warned her, "Don't trust the mirror in the attic. It's not ordinary." She laughed it off. The first night, she explored the attic. There it stood, an antique, tall mirror with a cracked silver frame, its surface dark and dull. But as she walked past it, she heard it, a faint whisper. "Rhea!" She froze. Her heart thumped loudly in the silence. She turned around. Nothing. The next night, the whisper grew louder. "Rhea, come closer." She didn't dare look, but a curiosity gnawed at her. On the third night, unable to resist, she stood before it. Her reflection looked wrong. Her eyes were hollow. Her mouth moved without her own lips moving. "Come closer. It's warmer here." Terrified, she stumbled back, but the mirror seemed to ripple like water, drawing her in. Days passed. Sleep eluded her. The whispers began to follow her throughout the house. No matter where she went, she could hear soft breath against her ear. Her reflection seemed to change, smiling when she was afraid, frowning when she felt calm. On the seventh night, she decided to destroy the mirror. With a hammer in hand, she struck it. The glass didn't crack. Instead, it pulled her forward faster than any force she'd known. She screamed, but it was too late. The next morning, the neighbors found the house empty. No signs of struggle, only the attic door stood open, and inside, the mirror reflected an empty room, except for a faint outline of a girl's shape, smiling, watching. The old forest of Malvern Hill had always been spoken of in whispers. Parents warned children not to wander near the twisted trees at dusk, and the locals avoided the thick woods where the fog seemed to breathe. But legends didn't stop people from disappearing. By the time Eleanor Marsh arrived in the small town of Greystone, she had already heard enough murmurs to know that curiosity could be fatal. Eleanor was a journalist, sharp-eyed, ambitious, and tired of writing fluff pieces for lifestyle magazines. She wanted something deeper, a story that would matter. When she learned of the disappearances near Malvern Hill, she packed her recorder, notebook, and camera, determined to uncover the truth. Her first day in town was overcast. The wind carried the scent of wet earth and rotting leaves. The townsfolk avoided eye contact when she asked about the forest, their smiles strained. One old man at the general store, whose name tag read Harold, gave her a chilling piece of advice. "You don't want to go looking," he rasped, staring at her as if measuring how much danger she'd invite. "The trees don't like strangers. You'll hear them call, see things you shouldn't. Once they know your name, you'll never come back." Eleanor smiled politely. "Stories to keep people away?" Harold's eyes narrowed. "You can believe that if you want. Just don't go." But by the next morning, Eleanor stood at the edge of the forest, camera hanging from her neck, boots sinking slightly into the damp soil. The woods stretched ahead like a black wall, the trunks gnarled and roots sprawling like claws. A thin ribbon of mist hovered over the ground, curling around the undergrowth like pale smoke. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward. The forest swallowed her instantly. The light dimmed as the canopy thickened, filtering the morning sun into hazy beams that danced like specters. The path, barely visible beneath a tangle of roots and fallen branches, curved and wound deeper into the heart of the grove. The sound of birdsong faded within minutes. In its place came the low, continuous rustling of leaves stirred by a wind that Eleanor couldn't feel on her skin. Her recorder beeped softly as she pressed the record button. "Entering Malvern Hill Woods," she whispered. "Time, 9:47 a.m., weather damp, overcast." With each step, the air seemed heavier. The smell shifted from wet earth to something more acrid, like moss decaying with something older beneath it. Her boots crunched against twigs, but the sound didn't echo as it normally would in a forest. It was as if the woods absorbed every noise. After an hour of slow progress, she came across a strange sight. Trees bent unnaturally toward one another, their trunks twisted together, creating an archway. Beneath it, the ground was bare of leaves and the moss was blackened. Eleanor crouched and touched the earth. It was soft, almost spongy. She sniffed the ground. A faint iron scent rose. Blood or something like it. A sudden chill raced up her spine. She straightened and scanned the trees. For a brief moment, she thought she saw movement between the trunks, like pale figures gliding past. But when she blinked, there was nothing. She raised the camera, but it only captured dark, blurred shapes. A whisper, barely audible, reached her ears. She froze. "Eleanor?" Her heart slammed against her ribs. She spun around. No one. She lifted the recorder. It was still recording. A second whisper came, this time clearer. "Come deeper. Come home." Her breath quickened. "Who's there?" she demanded, though her voice shook. Silence. A trickle of sweat slid down her temple despite the cold air. By noon, the fog had thickened and the forest swallowed even more of the daylight. Eleanor's sense of direction unraveled. She tried to retrace her steps, but the path behind her seemed to have disappeared beneath creeping vines. That's when she saw it. A small wooden cabin, almost camouflaged against the gray trunks, sat in a clearing. The roof sagged, and the windows were boarded with warped planks. Yet, strangely, a thin line of smoke curled from a chimney, dissolving into the mist above. Her pulse jumped. She hesitated at the threshold, listening. The forest held its breath. A voice came from inside, low and rough. "You're late." Eleanor's hand trembled as she pushed the door open. It creaked, but didn't resist. Inside, the air was dry and suffocating. Dust motes hung in beams of light that managed to squeeze through gaps in the wooden boards. Against one wall sat a metal kettle over a cold stove, and on a table lay a stack of yellowed papers covered in looping handwriting. A chair creaked at the corner, though it was empty. "Come in," the voice said again, nearer this time. Eleanor's eyes darted around the room, but she saw nothing. Gathering